specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the glories with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow at BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended. You know, today, the first topic, I didn't want it to be a topic, but Eddie Van Halen, the passing, it sucks. And I just want to kind of hear what your guys' introduction was to that, like him or the band or.
Oh man, I feel like for me, my dad was big into 80s metal. I remember he's seen Ozzy a bunch of times, and when I was a kid, he always had Dokken CDs. Again, Ozzy, Motley Crue, Van Halen, stuff like that sitting around. So my first introduction was just my dad playing those CDs and all that kind of stuff, and those records when I was growing up as a kid, being like, whoa, that's my first exposure to extreme or something out of the ordinary, what you would hear on the radio. So
right.
Yeah, and then as a guitar player, I mean, one of the greats, one of the best for sure.
Dude, the first show I ever went to, I saw Eruption live and I was like, bro.
Dang. Insane.
It's one of those things you can't, I don't know. He's just a legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you guys?
I mean, I would say probably similar to Aaron, through my dad, but I think I am a way more topical listener of Van Halen or anything related to Eddie Van Halen. Respect to him, but I'm not super well versed in his music at all.
Right.
Same, yeah.
Right. Yeah, Eddie. I don't know. I listened to a few classics, but obviously, because I'm talking to you guys, you obviously know what I fucking listen to.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, what have you guys been listening to lately? Who are some heavy hitters you think are in the scene right now?
Oh man,
Faceless Burial, as far as death metal goes.
True. Yeah, definitely.
Worm, Funeral Leech, the Atramentus record is way up there too for some favorites.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, a lot of Pink Floyd, Brian Eno.
I've been hearing a lot of Pink Floyd lately.
All that kind of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, Typo Negative, just seasonally. I always feel I'm oh, it's cold. I don't know why. I don't know why that's how it is, but stuff like that. So.
All right. Do you guys listen to anything outside of metal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say that's probably I think death metal is less of what I listen to. As a drummer, I like listening to metal music a lot because it's almost I feel I'm learning something when I'm listening to metal drumming. But as far as if I'm just walking my dog or driving in the car, I don't usually throw on death metal.
Yeah, and that's the thing I hear with a lot of the extreme guys is when they go on tour, they just don't listen to metal. They kind of.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah,
right.
It's almost exhausting in a way. It's one of those things where it's we play that kind of music and we get our fill of it, and seeing bands perform that kind of music is awesome, and I love doing it. But at the same time, it's
oh yeah,
if you don't give yourself a break, you oversaturate your mind a bit, and I feel that limits so much of what can be done with not only your own music but just basic writing and just thinking and stuff. I don't know.
Right. And I feel on tour, you got to be inspired because you're playing the same set over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's one of those things, I guess, but.
Yeah, and kind of building off what Aaron said too. So we've kind of been prior to the pandemic, we were kind of gearing up for touring a lot, and now we're more so doing a lot of writing. So kind of just that thing too, where it's I mean, it's good, I feel to know kind of your influences and stuff, but sometimes you listen to too much stuff that's the genre you play or too many of your contemporaries, and it might kind of like bleed over into your own thing, maybe negatively.
Yeah.
Right, and then you keep sounding like fucking, I don't know, fucking saying a about.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know. I think again, like what Josh was saying too, it's like all of those classic bands that I know we all like Carcass and Demolition, like all that kind of stuff. Like if you listen to that constantly, that I feel like it just narrows your mind. Like especially
Right.
thinking coming up with leads or coming up with transitions or like vocal placement, stuff like that. There are so many interesting things that happen outside of the genre that you play. Like
Mhm.
I know Vinny loves listening to jazz music, and that's another
Yeah.
great way to think
Yeah.
of like transitionary drum parts or X, Y, and Z, how to branch off of something that we have, but doesn't necessarily give like the cookie cutter answer to it, but something that is very specific to how we play our instruments and how
Right.
we kind of
Yeah.
carry ourselves. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the noted questions that I actually wrote down. I thought about.
Cool.
So
Let's go.
yeah. So what are, three variables like that you think would make like a, I don't know, for a producer, what do you think like needs to happen to work with them properly?
Hmm.
Mm,
I think
What,
in a
like
way,
what makes
so,
a valuable producer is a better way to put it.
the guy that we've recorded with, so Undimensioned Identities and Horrific Manifestations that split with Sedimentum, we recorded all of those songs with Adam Tucker. And so Fargo in relativity to Minneapolis is like a 4-ish hour drive from where we are. So we've
Mhm.
driven down there and worked with him both times. And I think touching on what we had just talked about, how not limiting yourself to such a tight knit thing is super important. Like he's recorded like stoner rock bands and like other weird like larger quintets of like jazz stuff and done live sets and records live in his studio. So I feel like it's important for him to have an ear for things that we're not necessarily
Right.
into, almost in a way.
Imperial Triumphant, they brought that up a lot because they go to a producer that he like specializes in jazz. So
Yeah.
he felt like they felt like
interesting.
they felt like that, made their music sound better because like I don't remember who the hell it was, but he just basically told me that the producer would just sit down and be like, "Yo, man, we should like throw in some trumpets here. Or we should throw in some fucking
Word.
like." And my question to you is like, do you go in the studio and you sit down and you're like, this is what we want, and we don't really want your opinion, but or are you like, do you let them produce?
I think definitely last time there was a few parts where Adam had some suggestions for us, and specifically with like drum parts, like there was a part that I was trying to play that was just it was just too busy, and
Mm-hmm.
especially for the part it just like wasn't complementing it well, and he was like, hey, that's what you're trying to do is cool, but like maybe it's not song
Don't.
serving. Like, can you play this
Right.
down a little? Like play less stupid.
That's
And
funny.
it was really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a big topic I bring up is because I don't know, like the studio is a lot different than, just jamming with friends. Like it's so tight knit. You have to
Yeah.
be tight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a
Yeah.
creative thing. You have to like overcome. It's not so easy.
Adam is a pretty relaxed dude too, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like he kind of just lets us do what we want to do and just wants to like make us sound how we sound already. He doesn't really
Right.
impose too much.
Okay.
And that's something I think is important to working with someone in that capacity, is just like, for them making sure that we feel like we can do what we need to do comfortably.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. So my next thing is like it's a basic question, but I haven't asked it. What's like your upbringing? Like music wise? What were you
That's
brought
fair.
up on?
For me, I guess, again, my dad is kind of bigger, not like hair metal, but like 80s, like thrash metal kind of thing. And then I actually was in like a jazz group, and I played trumpet and French horn while I was in high school, and didn't really delve super far into like the extreme music side of things. So I was into jazz and like into not like symphony based, but more like concert style music essentially. And then just had always been interested in playing guitar. Started doing that a while when I was in middle school and high school. And then we all actually met through the hardcore punk scene kind of in Fargo. It's mostly like there's not a lot of metal bands here, which is weird. It's like there's like four or five maybe. So all of us were like punk kids and kind of just found each other through like the DIY scene and stuff.
Right.
But
nice. I honestly, punk would be, to me, I'm like, really? But that's cool. I never really got into the punk scene. Like, I'm from Rochester, so that's like really big. But
yeah,
I don't know. I gotta get out there. Stop going to freaking metal shows.
Fair. I mean, it might be different too for us if like, it just didn't happen to be that like Fargo just had a hardcore scene more so than like any other scene. And I mean, like Aaron said, we do have like metal bands, but it's kind of like such a small city that it's all like intertwined, and like like the main promoters and like the people who had like a DIY venue at the time like booked hardcore shows mostly. So I think that's kind of how we fell into it.
Right.
And
there you go.
We're like really comfortable in a mixed bill setting too, because that's pretty much what we grew up playing. Like I think one of the very first all death metal shows that we played was one of our first shows. Like there's so few times that there'd be a touring death metal act that would actually come through Fargo. Like the closest big city is Minneapolis, like I was saying, and that's like a 4-hour drive. So it's hard to get dropped on a bill like that too when you're not necessarily doing
so
that
you're used to driving.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I
Go
guess
ahead.
who wants to tackle it next?
About our musical upbringing stuff.
Yeah.
Word.
I want to hear the stuff that people wouldn't expect.
Sure. So I mean, like Aaron, same kind of deal. Like my dad is like into metal, whatever, and that's how I got into metal. Like I think I remember in like 6th grade, like Pantera was like everything for me. Like that was like maybe the first band I was like real obsessed with, or like had to listen to like all their albums or whatever. You know what I mean? And then from there, like again, like Aaron was saying, it was kind of like wanting to find like the most heavy thing you can listen to, and also just like happening to know the right people who were already like going to local shows too. And that is like kind of how we got involved locally. But I don't know, I'd say that's
Pantera.
Same for me. I definitely got into metal through my dad and just like going through his CD collection, and he was also just a big like Motley Crue, Rat, like 80s metal guy. So that was my first love, Motley Crue.
There you go.
Have you seen them live? That's my question.
Unfortunately, yeah. I had to. They played Fargo on their last tour. So I had to go.
Yeah, I saw them twice, and needless to say, the last time I saw them, fuck, dude. Yeah, the singer, man, he looks pregnant.
Yeah,
he's just eating good.
He said
he got ham trays.
I'm eating good. Don't need to sing the words. Whatever.
He got the check.
He got the check.
He did, dude.
Yeah, he
Wait, but were there any Tommy Lee interludes with him rapping when they played?
No.
Nah, but he did do a drum solo like over some dubstep.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's beast.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Where I saw them in Darien Lake, they had like a roller coaster, and like he like did a circle or something crazy. He was on this like
strapped in.
Yeah, he was strapped in. Is that in the plans for your band? Come on,
man. I'd love to. Yeah,
that'd be
get
crazy.
The seatbelt on the throne. Let's go
on the kit. Yeah.
Oh, 80s, man. That's funny.
Yeah, Phobo Amusement Park coming soon.
Yes, details soon.
Details soon. So details soon. What do you guys got going on right now? Like, are you writing? You said you're writing. You writing anything new?
Yeah, right now we're just mostly working on like writing our debut album. We have like one other release that's going to come out before that as well, that we're kind of working on that simultaneously. But mostly just like those two things at the moment.
Do you have any desires to hop on a label? Like,
I think yes, but I guess it just kind of like
depends.
has to be right, and like preferably like you always want to work with someone who wants to work with you too. So like I definitely say like our album will definitely like come out on a label, but I don't know, like it might be like an underground label,
Right.
Yeah.
I always ask bands that question because I ask bands that are on labels if they enjoy the fact that they're on a label. And that's a pretty ballsy question because if they say something
Right.
bad, their label's going to
Contract.
hear.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're like, man, I wish I didn't. And it's like, dude. But like, what do you think the positives and like negatives of a label are? Like right now?
Definitely just like reach, I think, because like like obviously certain labels can like reach way more people than we can on our own. Also like someone to front like production cost for like the physical release too, like helps a lot.
Right.
So we don't have to drop like thousands of dollars up front to like get our record pressed or anything like that. But I guess, yeah, for me, when I think about it, at least it's mostly like just that the reach and like distribution kind of thing, and then having someone to help you out with the like physical product end kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's cool too, branching off of that, just to have physical copies in like brick and mortar stores. And I think that's like the most difficult thing to do as a band of this size. Like if we want records somewhere, we like have to bring them to someone. Like there's a really cool record shop in town called Orange Records, and the few times that he stocked our stuff, we just brought it right to him. Like he had our demo cassette, we brought him like 10 copies or whatever. And it's like, I think the label aspect of that is so cool too, because they know those people, and we wouldn't even like imagine that they're shipping these out to like smaller like brick and mortar stores. That's putting things in the hands of people quicker than waiting for it to ship, or like for a pre-order or a repress and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, the label is definitely a big question in a band, because like financially it helps, but then again, do you get like the royalties? Obviously, the fact that you don't really make a lot of money on that.
right.
Yeah, the push basically, but
Yeah.
it's a big question of like, is it worth it?
Right. And I guess I'm kind of like also like, I don't know, because we haven't like necessarily been in this situation yet, but I'm kind of like,
it's gonna happen, dude. I'm telling you, man. No, like I'm being straight. Like Frozen Soul, they just got. I think they're getting on Century Media.
Yeah.
Right.
Media. Yep.
So, dude, I'm telling you, Century Media could be next for you guys.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be cool.
They're starting to pick up the freaking good bands, dude.
True.
So, you guys, I haven't seen a music video. You plan on doing that in the future?
True.
I don't know. If the time is right, I feel like the time is right. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Again, it's one of those things. It's like we've only been in the studio twice. Our first demo, Christian actually recorded at our old practice space, and then we had like another song that came out that Christian also did. So Undimensioned Identity is like the first time we actually stepped foot in the studio and like did the whole, like, everybody independently record, do a take of this. It's like, it was awesome. It was great. And I guess if a music video situation arises in the future, so be it. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell right now, especially with the state of everything. It's like we were supposed to do a 2-week tour with Undeath on the West Coast, and then we were supposed to do it.
They're in my backyard.
Man, great dudes. Love those dudes.
Yeah,
we were also supposed to do a little stint by ourselves on the East Coast. That obviously didn't happen either. But yeah, so everything's on the back burner, unfortunately. But
Dude,
Yeah.
the
Oh, well.
funniest thing about Undeath that I've never said on this podcast is
Let's go.
my shitty ass band. I used to have a shitty fucking band. I won't even say the name.
Respect. Me too.
We played their first show,
Cool.
and
Oh yeah.
it was a psychedelic rock band, right?
Let's
That's
go.
word.
And they were the headliners, and it was like a Monday night, dude. It was a Monday night. The Bug Jar in Rochester shows start at like 9 o'clock at night. Okay.
Sick.
Love
And
that.
they're like, you guys got to play last. I'm like, dude, we're not the goddamn headliners. and it was us Undeath in this fucking psych rock 50s band. Like they're all
Sick.
50.
Damn.
And
Okay.
yeah, we
okay.
played at like 2 a.m. Undeath and my shitty deathcore band.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
That's
Though.
awesome.
but yeah, so and then they blew up after that show.
Yeah,
They-
because of
they
you
were-
guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they dropped like a demo, and then after that, they just fucking exploded. It's been crazy since.
Yeah,
But-
those guys rock.
I can't wait till their fucking new album comes out.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
gonna be sweet.
same.
No, it's coming up pretty quick here too. It's the end of October,
Yeah.
something
Yep.
like that.
They're bringing like, I don't know. There's just all these bands that have been popping up recently, and it's like a new era. Like Tomb Mold, like Fetid, all
Yeah.
those bands are just like
Yeah.
creating this new wave, in my opinion. I don't even know what to call it.
True.
Yeah.
I guess like death metal revival, maybe.
There it is.
Sort of.
There it is.
Sort of, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, definitely.
So you said you're going on a tour with Undeath, right? That was the plan.
What
Yeah,
is
I
the
think-
plan?
Planned, yeah.
It was like July, I think, is when it was supposed to be, something like that. Yeah.
What I mean, like, if you were to go on tour tomorrow and pick a couple bands, who would it be? Like, who
Probably
are your like
still
homies?
I'd say still Undeath for sure. We'd love
Yeah,
to tour
definitely.
those guys.
Yeah.
Is there any other
Man.
bands like locally that you guys play with live?
Yeah,
Mall.
probably
Yeah,
Mall.
Mall.
Yeah. Pretty good friends with the dudes in Mall. They just got, I think, they have a tape coming out and a record coming out on Redefining Darkness. I'm pretty sure pretty quick here within the next year or so. But yeah, those dudes have been great. We've known them for literally ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, since like the
Good dude.
very first shows we used to go to when we like weren't even in bands, those dudes were like so cool guys.
There we go. Okay. So Maul and Undeath.
Okay, and Sedimentum too. We
Yeah,
have to, we gotta get some
Oh,
shows
true,
with
yeah.
Sedimentum.
True.
Yes.
And Carcass.
Yes, and Carcass too, definitely.
All right.
We're waiting for the message from them.
There you go.
True.
Yeah. You're gonna be the
Yeah.
headliner, damn it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's like the first thing you're looking forward to when hitting the stage? Like the next show, whenever that happens. Like what I don't know. What are you looking forward to?
Just cranking the
I just want
fog.
to play these songs for somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely like playing our new songs and like literally just playing it all too.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well,
it's-
Well, my question is,
Yes.
are they in your area? Are they trying to push local shows? Because around here, they're like trying everything they can.
There's been like one that I know of,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
not super frequent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think-
feel like
Even just North Dakota in general is like top of the nation for COVID cases right now. And it's
Mhm.
kind of a miserable mess living here just in general because of that. Like I work at a coffee shop and it's insane. It's really weird. There's like no mask mandate and nothing actually really shut down here at all. So I don't know. It's just hard to tell when anything is going to be back to normal because it seems so dismal, like 90% of the time.
That,
It was just
that's
such a
what I'm
bummer.
saying, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was thinking to myself, I was like reflecting, and I'm like, dude, it feels like forever I've went to a show. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for real. Like the 6 months between like, all right, there's a pandemic, like lockdown to now feel like they've been like a blur. Like I don't
It
even
just
know
didn't
what's
happen.
happening.
dude, like
Yeah,
I just like reflected like the other day. Like you think I would have done that a long time ago. But
I think, well, I don't even think we got to play a show to play any music at all. It was, I think our last show was either November or December of 2019. We didn't get to play anything. I think the last time we played was with Void Rot and Nothingness, our friends from Minneapolis.
have you guys
And-
ever thought of, I mean, this just came to my freaking head, but the live stream like, are you guys rehearsing? Like you said, you're writing, right?
Yeah.
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 Have you thought of doing like one of those live sets?
Like sort of, but not. We've
I
never
don't-
like seriously like worked it out. We've just kind of been like, oh, it'd be cool to like do
Right.
this, but
I don't know how hard it'd be to even set up, you know?
Right.
But
I think it kind of depends on like we talked about it and we were kind of like, oh yeah, we could just like set up a phone or whatever. But then we were like, no, let's like take it a little more seriously. And I feel like each time we've kind of talked about it, just the more you end up wanting to put more into it, it just keeps kind
seems
of
so
evading
far,
us. Yeah.
yeah,
It just didn't
yeah.
really pan out.
right.
Yeah.
You're like, let's mic everything up. Let's get 3 cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's too late. You know, we're in second wave pandemic. It's not cool anymore.
Dude,
Too
I
late.
haven't even been on Facebook. Like the whole second wave, I just heard about it. I'm like, whatever, man.
I'm waiting for third wave. Third wave's the coolest.
Third wave is everybody dies off.
Everybody's
dude.
dead. Yeah.
Let's go.
Me, I'm on my last fucking podcast. I'm like, what are your last words? Like,
Yes.
all right. So here's a question that kind of disregards all of that, right?
Excellent.
Where do you want to be in 5 years, like with this project? And like, how about a couple years ago? Like, where were you?
Hmm.
I would say 2 years ago, I know end of 2017, early 2018 was probably the first time where we talked about actually being in a band.
Mhm.
Vinny and I had kind of tracked down like a smaller, very small room to practice in, and we were like, oh, it would be cool to be in a death metal band. And at that point, it was like Josh and Christian kind of hopped on board, but we were kind of messing around, and like I think we learned like a death cover, and we're like, we weren't really doing anything substantial. And then one day Josh was like, here's some songs, learn these. And at the time it was like,
Yes.
I couldn't play guitar that fast. So our first show, I didn't even play guitar. I was just doing vocals. And I was like,
Right.
I can't do this. And then we practiced like a lot, and then had a couple more shows. And then we're kind of like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is fun. We should keep doing this. And then just kept writing, kept practicing, got a bigger rehearsal space, kind of took it to the next level, took it a little more seriously. And we're like, oh, this is cool. Like, we want to do this. And I think that stems into where I personally want to be in 5 years. I don't want to have a job. I want this to be my job. Like, I want to tour
That'd be
full time.
so tight.
I want
Dude,
to
Yes.
do this. I want to write music, hang out with these guys, travel, do all kind of shit. But yeah, 5 years from now, I'd like to be at least 1, maybe 2 albums in, touring, consistently being on the road, doing this as a full time. I don't want to have this like on a back burner because I have a day job, you know. But that's for me. So
dude,
Yeah.
Devin Swank from Sango Slickerbog, he was talking to me
Yeah.
about. He's like, yeah, man, this is my thing. I don't have a day job. I'm like,
that's so sick.
and the
Yeah,
thing that-
yeah.
yeah.
I thought that
That's
was
the
the
dream.
craziest thing in my whole life that I heard, because if you think about it, they've only released 4 or 5 songs, something like
I
that.
think
Four,
it's 4
yeah.
songs
Yeah,
on
4
that on
songs.
that demo. Yeah.
And for him to say to me, dude, like, this is my thing. Like, this is what I got. I'm like, dude, that's crazy.
It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it is like insane. Like I guess their ascent has just been like really crazy to
Right.
watch.
And it just the thing is, like, when I was told when I was younger, like, dude, you can never make it in the music industry. Talking to people that have just, just started in this music thing and have already like made it a career is very like inspirational. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy to me.
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It like they just became like a band. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you put out something solid and just keep following it up and keeping people interested. I feel like they do just such a great job of like engaging just people online. Like they're out here memeing and merching, but that shit
right,
works. And they're doing
Yeah.
they're doing a great job of it, you know?
right, dude. That label Mega Stomp.
Oh yeah.
I think every band on there does very well because
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like people shit on that label for the band's not releasing. I don't know. They release more merch than the music. But at the same time, it's like it sells. It helps the bands
Yeah.
out. That's what you
Right.
have to do. Like, you
I
need to.
mean,
People don't realize that, and
yeah. Haters just make them more famous.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing too, like people do talk shit, but like if someone wants to buy this band's merch or whatever and support them, man, like I don't know, like I can't hate on that, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
It's one of those things. It's like it's easy to talk shit on something when you're not getting any attention or what you're doing isn't getting looked at in the same light. And it's like, so what? That band released 4 songs, sold a bunch of T-shirts, sold out this tour, and did this. It's like they're doing something. Like you said, Devin doesn't have a day job because he gets to do that. That's awesome. Like those dudes are great
Yeah.
dudes. They came and watched us play in, I think it was Ohio, right? Dayton.
Yeah.
Dayton.
Yeah, Dayton, yeah.
And yeah, they're super nice dudes. Like those are
Yeah.
great dudes, and they're doing something
They're
cool.
awesome.
So it's like, what's the point in talking shit on a band that
is
I don't know, is doing something? Yeah.
they're not just working a day job and writing riffs in the basement. Like,
Right.
Right.
That's right.
Like they're doing what I think a lot of bands like their level and our level like aspire to do, you know. So
Mm.
right.
Totally.
So you said 5 years. How many years before you want to be like touring and 2 albums deep? 5 or 4 years?
I think yeah, that sounds like about right, probably. And definitely
Yeah.
like Aaron said, just back to that, like I think for all of us, you know, at the moment is to like, yeah, try and make this like a career and like play music for a living. And that was kind of like the difference between 2 years ago, maybe like prior to, because we had like all played in bands before, but it never really clicked like, oh, maybe if we like try a little harder, like buy a van, you know, we can actually like do stuff and like we can book our own tours and, you know, I don't know, stuff that seems obvious. For some reason it did not click until
Right.
a little bit after this band was formed.
Yeah.
I was told the funniest thing. I've never laughed so hard until yesterday. Banger TV. I had Blaine on. I don't know if you watched that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He said to me, he goes, "Yeah, the bands just need to crank up their Lars Ulrich meter, the business meter."
All
I
right,
thought,
shit.
dude, I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Like,
I mean, I think too, it's scary as being as young as we are. Like, when you look at something and you see like a price tag on it, and you're like, oh, I really have to spend $3-4 grand on a van, or we have to spend $1,000 to get these T-shirts printed, or X, Y, and Z. It's like, yeah, that sucks, and that might be all the money you have right now. But if you really want to do this, like you're gonna spend that money. And I feel like having that realization too, like Josh was saying, is like you just have to pull the trigger on some stuff. Like if you want to be in a band, you want to tour, you got to buy a van. Like find the money. If you don't have the money, work harder, save more.
Right.
It's like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just like being a kid and kind of being an ass and just assuming that this is easy. We can do it in this car and blah blah blah. It's like, you know, that's how it
hell yeah.
works.
True. And I think like just going back to the label thing too, like what Aaron said, just the same thing, like basically like label or regardless. I think bands that like really want this are going to do it regardless pretty much. And I think that kind of plays into, I don't know, just the grind of like, yeah, like like Aaron was saying, before we, I guess Vinny out, before we had like bought a van, it was like, oh man, we can't drop like $3,000 to do this. That's crazy. But now, like, if our van broke down, we would immediately be like, okay, let's go buy a new van. Like, no hesitation.
And then you're $6,000 deep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Now, that's a topic to discuss. So touring, are you thinking about getting a trailer? Like that is the question.
Yeah, I guess.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, Aaron and Chris are going to have to answer that because they're like the only ones who drive when we go on tour.
I'm going to say no because, but I don't know. I mean, if we have to get a trailer, we have to get a trailer. I mean, right now, I don't think it's something we're going to have to do. Vinny's kit is pretty big, but I guess we're only playing, Josh and I play 4x12s, Christian plays an 8x10. So unless we go to stacks, which I think would be sick.
That'd be sick.
Then we don't then we don't have to get a trailer. But
yeah, I mean, shit. Like, I've been told some horror story. Where is he going?
I don't know. He just popping in and out.
He's like, see ya.
He's like, later, guys.
Yeah, that's a topic. The trailer that's another investment. Like, you got a $3,000 van, then the trailer, they're usually like $1,200.
Something like that too. Yeah, I think part of it is the driving thing. The other thing is like theft. I guess I don't know. It's like that's such a thing. True. It's like all these bands. You always see all these bands be like, so and so broke into our trailer, stole all of our gear, smashed this and that. Like, that should suck. Like, I think we all play like 80s BC Riches, and we're like, little babies about it. So if anyone ever stole,
I'm gonna show you mine.
Really fucking pissed. Yeah, go get it. That'd be sick.
Let's go.
A pile of fucking oh god, I got this. I think it's like the '90s Jackson.
Oh hell yeah, reverse headstock. That's sick.
I ripped the.
Oh yeah, Trey style.
Dude, I've been.
Nice.
I'm like, what pickups do I want to put in this? Because these sound like shit.
I think Josh and I play Black Winters, just Seymour Duncans.
They do. Do those sound sick? Because like, well, your record sounds fat. So, yeah. I was thinking EMGs, but then I'm like, dude, they kind of sound like shit. So
I think
Black Winters.
Yeah, Black Winters. I played a Pegasus for a while too, which is another Seymour Duncan pickup. That one's just a little more balanced across the board. The Black Winter is kind of like a more sizzly. I think it's mostly made for like a high gain style playing. So
does it have, does it sound like an active pickup? Like, mine sounds really muddy, and I haven't been able to, test out by buying hundreds of dollars of pickups.
I was gonna say, I haven't. I think, how did we get on those, Josh? The Black Winters. Do you remember?
Just like, well, I don't remember. We kind of had this like phase for a little bit where we were like playing solid state amps, and then we were like, oh, let's like get passive pickups for our guitars. And I think, I don't know, just like Google searching or whatever, it was kind of like the Black Winter or like the Seymour Duncan Nazgul, I think, are like the two kind of like widely used like metal pickups. And I think I don't know if you remember, but they were just saying, I think the Black Winter is kind of like maybe like a less polished like EMG 85. I think that's like usually like 81, 85 like bridge neck combo or whatever.
Because all I use is a tube amp, and that's it. I don't use any pedals or nothing.
That's fair. So. I think I've just been using the Maxon version of the TS9 as a boost, and then just a little noise gate. We don't run anything really crazy at all for it. Yeah, 5150.
Yeah.
Old guys.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Again, back to Eddie Van Halen.
True. Respect.
See, I knew Van Halen was a part of this band one way or another.
Oh yeah.
I got a 5150 2x12, so
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Josh was playing one of those. It was an Ampeg 140C or whatever it is, that solid state, like the Suffocation amp from the 90s, and then I had a solid state Orange for a bit. We didn't actually record with any of those, and then we did both have 5150s playing around too. So it's easy. It's one of those things you plug it in and it sounds great regardless. So
the one thing about 5150, so I will bitch about, because I'm not. It's a bad day to bitch about it, but those things are
Man.
freaking loud. The
Yeah,
block
it's
letters.
sick.
Yeah, for us, that's sick.
I was
Well-
like, I love that.
Well, the thing is, like, it's cool, but if you're just trying to like jam in your like
Oh, yeah.
apartment
Yeah,
or
true.
house,
Not gonna happen.
like the 5150 or the 6505,
Mm,
I'm not sure which one, but they're pretty quiet. Like you can just turn it to like 1 or 2, and it's generally
the
like
ones that we have, if it's on and like on, everything is on and the volume is all the way off. If you don't have earplugs in, you can hear it's like a practice amp volume basically. But if you go like half or up to 1,
Yeah.
it's like you need.
Yeah, it'd be like
it's
too loud.
it's like a
way loud.
concert.
Yeah.
You're playing to freaking the Hollywood Ball. Ivan said, "Come to Arizona."
We're down.
Man,
Yeah.
we were
As soon
going
as we
to.
can.
Yeah, we were going to. So
What else did he say? I haven't read. He said, "You guys rule." Fucking brutal as fuck.
Thank you.
I'm not
Yeah,
allowed to
thank you.
swear, man. Come on. I recently purchased your split, and that's all it says.
Cool.
right
That
on.
meant some rocks. That band
And
is
cassette.
awesome.
I was reading it backwards, whatever. Yeah, I gotta buy something. I gotta get a long sleeve,
Yeah.
man. What do you
Awesome, dude.
What do you got in stock, man?
We just did a like little store with night shift merch, and we did like a short sleeve and a long sleeve, both designs by Shogoth Kinetics. Otherwise, we have like a handful of these like Hack-O-Lantern, like the movie. It was like a Rip shirt that we did like last Halloween, and we put some of those up. But otherwise, we don't really have like too much merch out there at the moment.
It's all right. Fucking the thing is, UPS, man. Now you got to go to UPS get Corona.
Right.
All right. Well, is there any funny topics? I don't know, like questions you'd like me to ask? I don't know, or things to promote.
I don't know. Nothing that I could think of that you could ask. I would say, yeah, our split is out. It's on all the streaming stuff. Check out Sedimento. Awesome dudes, awesome band. I don't know. Be on the lookout. We like Josh said, we have one release coming out relatively, I would say with probably within next 6 months probably.
Yeah, I think so.
For that one. And then album after that. Who knows? But yeah, we'll have music out. When we can hit the road, we'll hit the road.
Hit Buffalo, man. Come on.
Man, I think that was
trying. Yeah.
You
I
tried?
think that was the first. That was going to be the first day. So we were driving from Fargo to Buffalo, which was like 22 or 24-hour drive. But that was the first stop on our tour. That
Which
was going to
venue?
happen. I don't know, Christian. Do you remember?
I think New York City was the first date. We tried to book a show in Rochester, but I think
Yeah, I think
it just didn't pan out.
Because like Nuclear Assault was playing a show
Oh,
that
yeah,
night.
that's what it was.
Oh yeah. Dan's from here.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I remember.
cool.
It was like I can't. His name is like escaping me, but the guy who books at the Bug Jar was kind of
Oz?
Yes, yep. Oz was like kind of letting me know, like
Yeah.
he was like, man, they're playing here. Like it would be really bad if I booked you a show, but like
Yeah.
try another time.
Yeah, Oz is the nicest dude. So yeah, he's like, he let me book a show, and I was like, at the time I was like freaking 19. So he's awesome. Let's put it that way.
Vinny just texted me. Goes, my phone died.
Tell him any last words.
Okay.
That's funny, dude. I was like, what is he doing? Just popping in. I'm like,
I
I
know.
don't know.
I was like, do I suck that bad?
Having issues.
All right. Is there anybody I should talk to in the scene that is cool, like, I don't know, interesting or funny that you've met?
I mean, like cool and funny and interesting. Probably like everyone in Sanguisugabog, I would say, like when we met them.
Yeah.
Again, they're very nice. They're very funny also.
Vinny's final words are, listen to Swevin, that new Swevin record.
Ooh. Oh, that
There you
was
go.
okay. I was just told that the other day.
That record is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a sick record for sure.
Is there any other bands you think that'd be cool to talk to other than Sangwa?
I guess Lucas from Funeral Leech is a super cool dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
Insane record collection. Super nice guy. But I have just talked to him for a while back and forth on Instagram about random stuff. He's super cool. I'm not sure his name, but the guy in Worm, also super interesting dude, has a really cool t-shirt collection. I always
Okay.
see him posting cool shirts on his story. But other
That's
than
cool.
that, I don't know. I feel like we haven't met that many people unless I'm Obscene. That band's really cool.
True.
Yeah, Obscene is sick. They just put out a new
Good dude.
record in June, I
Yeah.
think. It's really good.
Mhm.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, I'll check them out. I don't know.
Yeah,
Good
there's
shit.
just so much music and there's so many things going on. There's so many people, and I feel like every day there's something interesting that pops up that I have to a long list of stuff that's coming out constantly, which is cool. It's good.
Right.
But
yeah, that's one thing that is helping the industry, but at the same time it's hurting because so many freaking bands.
Right.
That's fair.
So many bands. But bands that will last for a little bit, I don't know.
True.
So all right.
Yeah, that's my 5-year goal, is to hopefully still have some
Yeah.
sort of relevance.
True.
Yeah,
and that's
that's a
what I
good
mean.
one.
That I've been told that multiple times. Like, I asked this one question. I don't know. If I were to ask you it now, you'd probably look at me and go, "Why the fuck are you asking me this?" But I say, "How do you define success?" And they say, "Being relevant." Like,
Yeah.
musicians, they sometimes they just live for a little bit, one hit wonder, and then drop off.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to death metal, no, there's
I'd say relevance and honing your craft in a way. It's just like there's always something to learn, and I feel like if you cap out and you're like, this is the top of my playing ability, this is exactly how it's going to be, and I'm just going to keep writing records like this, that like stagnant mindset, I feel like, is where a lot of bands, in my opinion, start to drop off. It's like, I don't want to hear the same record 10, 15 times. Like, write something cool. Like, there's so many bands that I like even older bands like Convulse. That first record, awesome. And then after that, they wrote like a 70s rock record with death metal vocals, and it's sick. And it's so cool. And it's like, to me, that's so interesting that bands will do that. I don't know.
Get out of their comfort zone, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing, you know. Yeah, Banger TV, I was just talking to him, and he was like, these fucking death metal bands, they just don't get out of the box. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, all right, I guess you're true, but you're right. But come on, man.
True. It's just, I feel like it's kind of hard too in underground music, because a lot of the time when bands do go outside of the box, they're like, people hate it, you know?
Yeah, they turn into 6 Feet Under, man.
Right.
You said Convulse. How about Evulse? Have you checked them out?
I haven't. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I have either.
Evulse, man.
Yeah.
Holy
band?
shit. What'd you say? Yeah,
Newer
they're
band,
newer.
like in the last few years.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
Cool.
newer. But they are heavy, man. I'll send you a
Hell
link
yeah.
right after this. And then
Cool.
you send me some music to listen to.
Cool. I will. It'll be fun.
Do they share members with Mortuous? Is that the right band?
I honestly, I have no idea. I listened to their EP, but I didn't really dive into them.
Right on. The name is familiar, but I don't know if I've heard it yet.
I think they're from like California, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sounds
that makes
right.
sense.
Oh, right on. Cool.
So, all right. Well, we will talk again. Hopefully in Buffalo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
So, all right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. I appreciate your time, and keep doing your shit. I'll get some Black Winter pickups, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Sick. Thanks for having us on.
us.
Thanks for having us.
See you, man.
Yeah. Later.